Hi there, my brothers and sisters in Christ. In this video, I'm going to share with you a dream in which the Lord had given me, and I knew for a fact that it was from the Lord because it was so vivid, and He was basically showing me what He's seen in my life. This was about, I think, a few months ago that I had this dream. Okay, a few months ago, I had one of my friends from, I guess, from my hometown come to visit. Worldly, not a believer. All right, and then as I was accommodating or being a host to my friend, I didn't. I did and I didn't. I didn't and I did see that some of the conversations which we had and the places in which we went were not edifying, not of God. A lot of people will see this would have seen it as harmless, but God seen it different. And after my friend left, I also seen it as something that I needed to ask for forgiveness and repent. Tell the Lord that I'll be more careful next time. It is so serious. Okay, but how the dream started off. I was downtown in this dream, downtown wherever, and it was at nighttime. And in this dream, it was me and two other women and whom I used to befriend. This was like back in 2006, a long time ago. And I remember in my lawless life and reality that we would always drink, go out, listen to music, play cards, just lawless. And I remember them in this dream, which was quite strange that I actually had a dream about them. But yes, we all were downtown, and it was at nighttime at a lounge. And in this lounge where we were at, there was a stand-up comedian, a live stand-up comedian, but it changed later on in the dream. It was a live stand-up comedian, and the comic was a male, flamboyant homosexual. I had to say it in such a way because of the spirit behind it, the spirit of sarcasm and pride, uncleanness. So we were at a lounge listening to a stand-up comedian who was flamboyant, male homosexual. And in this dream, I found myself laughing at the jokes in which he was speaking about, and these jokes were not godly whatsoever. I don't remember what he was talking about, but I knew in this dream that they were not godly. But in this dream, it didn't hit me as such. I don't know, it was just strange to me. And then later on in this dream, the live stand-up comedian turned into, his whole act turned into a television. So he was no longer, it was no longer live, but it was like we were watching TV. And he was in the TV performing his comic acts. And after that, one of the girls in which I was with started flipping the channel, kept flipping the channel, flipping the channel, flipping the channel. And she turned the TV off. She was like, oh, that's done. She said, let's go to the bar. And this is what we used to do. But when she said that, it hit me, and I remembered in this dream that my life had changed for as far as serving the Lord. And when she said that, I did not respond. But the other girl that was with her, which was my friend, she agreed with her and was ecstatic. And this is how we were back at CN, just lawless as lawless can be. And as we were leaving the lounge to walk, we were going to walk to wherever the bar was. I was saying to myself, I said, okay, so I'm not going to go to the bar with them. I'm just going to walk. And then I'll be able to witness unto them, to show them and tell them what Jesus had done for me and to me in my life. Because in this dream, and this was what I do in reality, it's not that I commune, I don't know, with the lost, but it's like the only reason that I am around the lost in this way is to draw them to Christ. Is to show them the love of Christ, the patience of Christ. But then what the Lord is showing me in this dream, and I didn't see it that way, is that some will never come to him, and to stop mingling with them. Because when you mingle with them, you yourself will begin to go back into your ways, And I realized this in this dream. So we were on our way to walk to the bar or whatnot. And me and one of the girls were holding hands as we were walking, like joking around and just laughing and playing or whatnot. And what the Lord was showing me that I was mingling with the world. Okay. So while we were walking, I noticed a group of guys coming towards my left and whom I knew. Well statured, very professional and respectful. I knew these guys. There were about like 8 or 9 of them. And there was a leader of them. And in this dream, even when I woke up, I perceived him to be, and he reminded me so much of Christ. And the rest of those that were with him was like disciples. As I was walking with those people, or those former friends of mine, they were walking towards us because they recognized me. And then as we were walking, they came. I stopped. They stopped. And they just looked at me. A look that I couldn't even describe. I was trying to do, I don't know if this is the best one that I could ever find, but it's like that look speaks. It's priceless. When I seen him, I seen them, and he asked me, "What are you doing?" Okay, he said, "What are you doing?" With that same look, because I knew. They knew. And it's so strange in this dream as I was talking to him. I remember my legs being like somewhat crossed. And I was almost like leaning to the right, leaning to the left, as if I was drinking. As if I was drinking a little bit and then started to feel the alcohol in my system. And as he was talking to me, I was like looking down, being ashamed, and like trying to hold my balance. It's not like I was like drunk, not trying to say, okay, that's okay. No, in this dream, it was showing me the worldliness. Because I was saying to myself that we had not even gone to the bar. I was not going to go to the bar with them. Why was I feeling like I had already drank something? Okay. And as he was talking to me, and as the guys were with him, he seen a stain on my shirt. That's the other image that I was trying to show. He seen the stain on my shirt, in which I didn't notice. And he pointed at that. He said, "What's going on there?" And I looked at it and I tried to wipe it. I tried to wipe it away, still in shame. And then he told me, as my friends was just standing in the back, I guess, waiting for me, he told me, "You need to stop hanging around those people. You need to be with us. You need to stop hanging around those people." And then as he was saying that, I turned back to look at my friends to basically let them know that I'm not going with them, that I was going to go with the group, in which that group was Christ and the rest of his disciples and followers. And then when I turned around, these former friends were already gone. Okay? They basically said, "Forget me." They said they didn't want to wait for me. They weren't really my friends. They were already gone. They already left to the bar. They didn't tell me anything. So after that, they walked away, the group, which it was like this guy that reminded me so much of Christ and the people that was with him. So I started walking with them. Okay. And as I was walking with them, and there was still like a gap between them and me, there was someone in whom I never seen in his dream, and I perceived him to be the devil. There was someone that was walking right next to me, and he tried to hold my hand as if to resist me from following them. And it wasn't like a forceful resistance. It was like a, "No, please don't go with them. Stay with me, please." And then like I felt him holding my pinky and then like trying to pull me back a little bit to not to follow the guy that reminded me of Christ and the rest of the disciples or followers. And I remember in this dream that I shooed him away. I like almost pushed him away, and I started speeding up to walk with Christ and the rest of the followers. And what I noticed in this dream as well is that it broke me, and it broke my heart when I seen this. So what they were doing, they were walking around downtown at night. We know that night means darkness, okay? Darkness. We are not to be the children of darkness, but the children of light. But he was walking around with the followers to get other believers that may have, I would say, slip. They may have been tainted by the world. Just like when he found me, I had the stain. So when he found me, he was disappointed. I was ashamed. He corrected me, and I started following him. He found 2 other people as well while he was walking downtown, and that was his mission. That was his job, to go get his sheep. And then I felt ashamed because I said, what was I doing? Why am I mingling instead of being like how he is? You know? So he found 2 other people while walking downtown. There was one that was drunk. Passed out. Passed out. No consciousness whatsoever. One of the disciples or one of the followers of Christ had to carry him. And I seen while he was carrying him, he was tired, but he had to carry him. And I noticed another one, he was drunk, but it was hard for him to walk. He had to have 2 disciples, one on one side, the other one on the other side, to help him like a crutch to walk. And I remember seeing, and this what broke my heart, and it really corrected me. I seen a younger boy. He was probably like 16, 15, who was okay, I wanted to show you that picture. But while all of this was happening, it was like a young teen that was part of the followers, in which Christ, like I said, was the leader, and there was other leaders within the group, and there was a young teen that was looking up to these leaders, was looking up to Christ in righteousness. And he seen and he noticed how those that were within the group had fallen so hard. So like I said, one was passed out to one of the followers, was tired, and he had to carry him. I noticed that in his dream. Another one who could barely walk, to where one follower was on his right hand, the other one on the left hand. That little boy in the dream reminded me of Benjamin out of the 12 disciples. He was so concerned to the point where like he was almost crying because these men, these followers had fallen. And he was so concerned with them, running from one end to see how they were doing, asking the ones that were carrying him, is he going to be all right? What's going on? He was distraught. And I noticed this in his dream. And I woke up, and it really woke me up. Even the slightest bit, even if you're not thinking, you just get so caught up in trying to accommodate people. I mean, you may care for them as a friend, because there's some people that has been there for you more than you may say your family. But it's like when Christ calls you, there is a sacrifice that those that are not helping you grow, you would really need to make a decision. Are you going to follow Christ, or are you going to shrink back to continue to be friends such? Yes, the Lord calls us to be long-suffering and patient and love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But then we must realize that some will never come to Christ. And with them never coming to Christ, these very same ones can be a stumbling block before you. They hold on to the old you. The old you. And they miss the old you because this is where they believe everything was good. But now that we have put on Christ, your friends miss the old you. And I know I fell victim to that because I thought by just being in one's life that I would be able to minister the gospel, and they will see my life. But it's true, as it says in scriptures, what does light have in common with darkness, especially if darkness refuses to come to light? Remember being in my sins when people would preach the gospel. I had no interest in it. I had no desires in it, even though I professed myself to be a Christian. But I'm just happy that the Lord showed grace. I wanted to share this with you all. I did not want to share it because I myself was ashamed. This was a few months ago. I was ashamed. But now I said, let me share it for those who are also going through the same thing, that you may see what God has shown me of myself. Because there's sometimes we are blind to see for ourselves. So the Lord showed me what He's seen, what He feels. So while the guy that reminded me so much of Christ and the followers, They were the light that was going around in darkness, picking up sheep that may have stumbled and gathering them back to the light. All the while myself, and I felt so disgusted in myself when I woke up. Like, what are you doing? After all God has done for you, what are you doing? I was supposed to be how Christ was. I was supposed to be how these followers was. Not the ones that have fallen or stumbled, but those that were strengthened, that go around to draw the lost or draw those that have been stumbling. But in this dream, yeah, he corrected me, he rebuked me. There's some that are lost, they're lost. He said, stop hanging around them. So I made up my mind, and I just continue to cut people off, continue to be very brief with them, not showing hate or anything, but to show someone that that's not my life no more. This is not who I am anymore. You're clearly resisting the light. So therefore, truly, what does light have to do with darkness? Be not unequally yoked with non-believers. I don't know. But when I seen the young boy, he was just so concerned. He was wondering what happened because we know that the drunkenness in which these two people experienced was spiritual stumbling. But imagine that drunkenness in reality. That one dude that was unconscious, he could have very well died being receiving or having alcohol poison. And those two in whom Christ and his followers went to go get, they were not with him in the beginning, but they, just like myself, being of the body, were, I don't know what their situation was. Maybe they were hanging around by themselves, tempted to do things that were not godly but ungodly. To laugh at or engage myself in speech that is ungodly. In this dream, I woke up, I said, why did I laugh like that? Why was I laughing so hard at something that is so ungodly? But that's where the stain came from. That laugh basically showing me that you were having pleasure with the world. And it was so strange that the stand-up comedian was a flamboyant homosexual. And whatever he was saying was very dramatized. And we know how these things are, very dramatized. And instead of looking at that and hearing what he was saying and shunning it and denouncing it, it's like in my laughter, I was agreeing with it, staining my own garment. As it says, hating the stain on their garment. It's the stains of flesh. And this is just to summarize it. Hating even their garments. I don't know, my brothers and sisters, but learn from me. Sometimes these things can happen when you seek. And the thing is, my desire, I want all my friends. I want all my old friends, my former friends. I don't even have friends now because of Christ. Christ is my friend. And I have only a selected few godly friends. But I want all my former friends that I knew in my sins, and the people that I know now that I would not consider as my friends. I want all of them to be saved. I really do. As the Lord says, um, it is not his will that any man shall perish, but all come to the knowledge of the truth. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is why I was long suffering with some of my former friends, in which I had decided to keep in contact with, even though I gave my life to Christ, so that they may see Christ in me, so that they may change their lives, so that we both may be godly together. But it showed me that we have two different spiritual fathers. One spiritual father is trying to subdue the other. I don't know, but I'm thankful that the Lord had showed grace. He showed me exactly what he's seen. Pray that, and this is what I kept praying. I always pray for conviction. I always pray that the Lord show me wrongs when he see it, that I may correct myself and not remain in it. Rebuke and chastisement. And when I see it, I correct myself. Because there's some people that profess to be believers living in lawlessness. God sees their lawlessness and does not tell them anything, but allows them to continue in that lawlessness. But the Lord showed me, and shows many of us, that we may correct it, that we may increase into more holiness to be as him. Like I say, I'm ashamed. I really am. But it has taught me a lesson. It has made me stronger. It made my eyes to really see in the spirit who is good for me and who is not good for me. Sacrifice, let go. The greatest thing is to let go. Sometimes. The greatest thing is to let go. But when they are ready to serve the Lord, they will come. They may ask me questions. I'm not going to deny them of that. But if one wants to continue in their lawlessness, I cannot entertain you. We've become different people. I am no longer that who you used to know. You know? I don't know. Thought I'd share this with you all, my brothers and sisters. And I'm about to put out another video, because within that time frame, while I was going through that phase, the Lord gave me another dream. Because with that, um, as far as reading scriptures, it started. My reading and my studying of scriptures became began to decrease, and the Lord showed me another dream, which he corrected me and rebuked me on that one as well. Y'all take care.